Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hello. Here now, and here now, and here now, and here now.
Very clever.
Yeah. The two people on the Empire State Building have been taken into custody. That was quick. Police, I assume, were waiting on top of the building, on the roof, and so that's over with. That was exciting while it lasted. Maybe we can find out why they did it, and did the guy propose to the girl, dude? I mean, what kind of husband or boyfriend are you if you allow your girlfriend to go up there and risk her life? Like, just do it yourself or get one of your homeboys to go help you.
Well, maybe it was like the ultimate date, and that was when he wanted to propose.
Well, we'll see. We will see very soon what happened there, and whether or not that was a date gimmick. Hey, Noto Roofing, Noto Roofing.com. Speaking of roofs, that's the way Chris at Noto says it, by the way. I always make fun of him. He calls it a roof. Let me get up on that roof. Roof inspection, complimentary roof tune-up, all free. Doesn't cost you a single dead burn dime. Doesn't cost you nothing. They just get up there and do it. And here's the beauty of it, as I always tell you. If you've got issues, you don't have to even decide that day. You know, they're not going to pressure you. They're not going to push you. They're not going to tell you you have to decide. If you really don't know if you're ready to do it or not, tell them that. Just say, hey, if you can give me a few days to decide, I'll call you guys back. Now, on the other side of that, maybe you are ready to do it. You trust Noto because you hear me talk about him all the time. And you say, let's get after it. What they're going to do is they're going to help you file that insurance claim. And they're going to get to work. They deal with these, by the way. The insurance company's hard to deal with, I know. But they deal with them every single day. And all the different companies, they deal with all of them. So they know what they're doing when they call them. And some insurance companies want to jerk you around and do this, that, or the other. But because they do this every day, they're not going to let the insurance company jerk you around. If it's available for them to pay for it, they're going to get them to pay for it. So call them up, 205-848-2299. That's the number, 205-848-2299, and online, notoroofing.com, notoroofing.com. I want to make a point outside of Ketanji Brown dumbass's TikTok lingo and her opinions. The ruling itself when it comes to birthright citizenship is such a danger to this country. Because you can literally, just pretend you're a foreigner, right? You can literally hop on a cruise ship in your home country at 9 months pregnant, cruise over to Boston or Miami or wherever, hop off the ship, have the baby, and then be back on the ship in no time, and your child has American citizenship. Literally. You may say, Andrew, well, that doesn't happen. There are cases, though, where it is set up for people to simply come give birth in the U.S. You can give birth to a baby here on the U.S. mainland or Hawaii or Alaska, and from then on, you can collect welfare for that baby. All while you don't even have to come back to the U.S. after that. You can collect welfare, all the social services, all the welfare, the food stamps or the whatever. You can collect all that. That baby will be able to vote in American elections for the rest of their lives and have all the perks that American citizens have forever, simply because they were born here. Even if it was just for a day, if they were here for a day and then flew back home, that would be it. And the reason that I know that this happens, there are companies out there in other countries, in particular China, that have birthing tourism, where companies, which, you know, if it's a company in China, it is pretty much state controlled. You don't do anything in China without the government allowing you to do it or knowing what you're doing, right? There are companies that will literally book you flights, a pregnant woman and her family or whatever, book you a flight to the U.S. as kind of like a little vacation for the sole purpose of you getting over there, having a baby, and then fly you right back over. So your baby has an American citizenship. You don't believe me? Here's a news story from 2013, just to give you an idea about how long this is going on, that this has been going on. Because all the way back, from here on out, and even from before, if you were born in the U.S., you are an American citizen. That's been kind of the law of the land until Donald Trump signed that executive order, but it was immediately challenged in court. So nothing really changed. Donald Trump was trying to fix something in our system that was broken. The left didn't like it, so they sued Donald Trump, and the Supreme Court, ironically enough, sided with the leftists. Listen to this report from 2013 about birthing tourism with Chinese nationals.
Her name is Ada Lin. She's 4 months old and the only American citizen in her family. Her parents, who agreed to speak with us if we didn't show their faces, traveled from China to Los Angeles so Ada could be born in America and claim U.S. citizenship. I want her to live a happy life, her father says. The family is back in China now. They're among thousands of Chinese who become so-called birth tourists, staying in maternity hotels near Los Angeles. These hotels are often single-family homes in quiet neighborhoods.
Not here, not anywhere.
At least 2 are in Chino Hills, California, where residents are annoyed at the frequent comings and goings. Chino Hills resident Rosanna Mitchell.
Why does this offend you?
When people think of the American dream, they're not thinking about birth tourism. They're thinking about people who come here, immigrate here, work hard, pay their taxes, become citizens, and become Americans.
Ada Lin's family paid $27,000 to a Chinese agency with a website that advertises the advantages of giving birth in America. The agency helps arrange U.S. tourist visas, lodging, and medical care. The practice does not violate federal immigration laws, but it gives Chinese parents the option down the road to have their American children attend U.S. universities or live here. The Lins say having Ada in the United States allowed them to get around China's one-child policy. It restricts most women from giving birth to more than one child in China. The Lins say that restriction does not apply to Chinese who give birth overseas. This hilltop home was converted into a maternity hotel that housed as many as 30 pregnant Chinese women at a time.
Think about that. They have foreign tourist maternity hotels with companies in China. This has been going on for years and years, where there will be basically travel agents that will say, give us 25 grand and we will book you a flight. We'll rent your room at a maternity hotel. You can go over there, give birth, and within a couple weeks, once your baby's able to fly, we'll fly you back. And then at that point, you've got all the perks of being a U.S. citizen. You don't have to go back to the U.S., but you've got all those perks now. Your baby's a U.S. citizen. And they're allowing this. And if that was going on back in 2013, how many of those maternity hotels, with all the health care and the Medicaid fraud and everything, with all of that going on, how many maternity hotels do you think are still running today? You think they just disappeared, that they were like, oh, well, it's not against the law, but we're going to stop doing it because it's the right thing to do? They're probably all over the place. In China, the Chinese government, the CCP, is actively encouraging it. For instance, their one-child policy, you couldn't have more than one kid. They were doing their population control, right? If you got pregnant, you already had a kid, got to do away with that one, right? Unless You go and have that baby over the U.S. and get that baby U.S. citizenship. Then you can come back and you can have more than one child. So essentially, it's one child unless the other children have a U.S. citizenship. Now, why would China do that? Why would they bend their one-child policy rules if it truly is about population control? Why would they bend the rules for people that are going down that road and going to these maternity hotels in the U.S.? It's because it benefits China to have many members of their society, of their population, have American citizenship. Just like buying the farmland, just like everything else that they've done to infiltrate the United States, if they can get large swaths of their population to automatically have U.S. citizenship, imagine what they could do to this country in the future. They could destroy us from within with our own citizenship. That, ladies and gentlemen, is why the birthright citizenship ruling is so damn dangerous. And nobody's talking about that aspect of it. There's many, many dangerous aspects to this ruling. But that one right there, that may be the most damning of all. All right, if you want to get in, 205 545 9950. 545 9950. Let's go to Scott on the cell phone. Scott, what's up, bud?
Hey, how's it going, man?
Good.
Listen, I agree with everything you're talking about on the birthright citizenship. I think it's just a disgrace. These people don't understand what they're doing to this country, and you're right, they'll do it from within. And, like you were saying just a minute ago, just think about what, from within what they can do. And, with these people being a U.S.-born citizen, are they not eligible to become president? They could just, they're giving them basically a roadmap to destroy the country.
Yeah. They would be more eligible to become president than Mom Donnie is. So
exactly. Yeah.
It's wild.
Crazy. I don't understand where these judges. They need to get their heads out of their butts. I guess I don't know. But,
yeah.
Anyways, enjoy your show.
All right, Scott. Thank you, buddy. And the two culprits here, again, I don't blame the Democrat. I don't blame the liberals on the court because I know how they're going to vote. But the two culprits here are, one, Amy Coney Barrett, who is an absolute backstabber, and John Roberts. John Roberts, who has long been a backstabber. And here's a little insight for you on John Roberts, by the way. There was, if you recall, on Epstein's flight logs, there was a John Roberts on there, and everybody was like, is that Supreme Court Justice John Roberts on the flight logs? And they're like, of course not. John Roberts is a standard name. It's probably somebody else. I'm getting to a point where I'm kind of like, maybe it was that John Roberts. Because if you look who he's hanging out with, he's good pals with a Trump-hating deep state lawyer by the name of Norm Eisen. And even vacationed at Norm Eisen's palace in the Czech Republic for a week. Had a little sleepover, if you will. Now, who is Norm Eisen? Norm Eisen, most recently, you would have seen Norm Eisen as the attorney that was representing the Olympian that was damaging the reflecting pool. Do you remember we played that video on the podcast, John Bird? And I was like,
oh, yeah.
Just listen to this guy's voice, like not Norm, but the guy that damaged the reflecting pool. I said, just listen to this guy's voice, and you can tell he's guilty. He's like, well, they took me into custody and kept me there for 6 hours, and it was awful. Norm Eisen was that guy's attorney for the case against him from Judge Janine. Now, this guy can't afford a high-end lawyer like Norm Eisen, but he is the attack dog for the Democrat Party that will go out, that will be sent out, should I say, to defend high-profile Democrat operatives in court. Let me just read you a little bit of this. Chief Justice John Roberts has been rubbing elbows with none other than Norm Eisen, the radical leftist operative who spent years orchestrating lawfare campaigns against Donald Trump, his close advisors, and his allies. According to Revolver News, Roberts didn't just bump into Eisen at a D.C. cocktail party. No, these two are such good pals that Roberts jetted off to the Czech Republic for a week-long sleepover at Eisen's lavish 150-room palace in the Czech Republic. And it's straight from the mouth of Norm Eisen himself, the very same man who practically wrote the deep state's instruction manual on how to destabilize political opponents via color revolutions and lawfare and weaponize legal warfare against Donald Trump. According to Eisen, in an interview with Pantsuit Politics, LLC, Chief Justice Roberts is a longtime friend who joined him overseas to work, quote, on American and European rule of law issues. Eisen says, I think part of the solution is to acknowledge John Roberts is not corrupt. Yeah, that's your first red flag. He said, I know the Chief Justice well. He stayed when I was ambassador, stayed under my roof, came and spent a week with us. We worked on American and European rule of law issues together. And most of the justices are trying to do their best. And they don't see the world exactly the way that I do, but not Clarence Thomas and Alito to a lesser but still troubling extent. So he hates Alito and Clarence Thomas, as you can see. So it's a blatant, in-your-face conflict of interest that reeks of elite collusion. How can we expect impartiality from Chief Justice John Roberts, who shares wine and policy agendas with the puppet masters orchestrating all the anti-Trump legal assaults? This is the guy that's prompting all of the things that's prompting the birthright citizenship lawsuit, everything that makes its way to the Supreme Court. Norm Eison's behind it. And then, as Norm Eison is behind it, it ends up in front of his good friend John Roberts. Norm Eison is the hatchet man in the current shadow government tasked with taking down Donald Trump. He's also the acclaimed expert on color revolutions, which, as you know, is a system used by U.S. intel to overthrow undesirable regimes or unwanted political movements. And they would make the argument that they only do that overseas. But it sure seems like they use it here. Even Eisen and top Democrats and intel experts use this model to steal the 2020 election. Because following that election, Eisen and others famously bragged about using color revolution tactics to get rid of Donald Trump and to get him out of the White House. He also posted a tweet on X bragging about he was taking Elon Musk and Doge to court to impose consequences. These are his words. Impose consequences for their efforts to cut fraud and spending in the U.S. government. Eisen accuses Elon Musk of having an office in the White House, no supervising official, as if Donald Trump is AWOL. Now, it says it can be recalled that Chief Justice John Roberts has been linked to an exclusive circle of elite judges and lawyers that includes, get this, James Boasberg, Beryl Howell, Ameta, and Ketanji Brown Jackson. That's right. He even released a statement attacking Donald Trump for calling on the same crooked district judges to be impeached. He's made multiple statements, as a matter of fact. John Roberts has, criticizing Donald Trump and the things he says. But John Roberts thinks a lot of James Boasberg. Roberts appointed Boasberg to serve on the U.S. Foreign Intelligence Court, the FISA court, in 2014. And he sat on the court when this group of vagabonds allowed the deep state to spy on Donald Trump, his family, his business, the administration, the campaign. It just happened to be James Boasberg that was appointed by none other than John Roberts. Donald Trump is set to visit the Theodore Roosevelt Library in Medora, Medora, North Dakota. I almost called it Oklahoma. It's North Dakota. Is that how you pronounce it? Medora? Medora, North
Yes,
Dakota?
not to be confused with Moderna.
Yeah, it's definitely not Moderna.
No, not Moderna.
It's Medora.
Yeah, Medora. You got it.
Medora. All right, here we go. If you want to get in, 205-545-9950, 545-9950. Now that I have explained to everyone why the justices are voting the way they're voting, they're basically Democrat operatives. And how old is John Roberts? Let's find out real quick. How old is Chief Justice John Roberts? He is 71 years old, born in 1955. It's time for him to go. I mean, wouldn't that be nice if Donald Trump could be the one to replace John Roberts? But
Yeah.
he'll stick it out. John Roberts won't retire until a Democrat's in office.
Oh, no.
You can guarantee yourself. There was actually, if I'm not mistaken, there was was it maybe Fox News article that put out something about Samuel Alito retiring, which Samuel Alito and Clarence Thomas are our two saving graces on the Supreme Court. Number one and number two, respectively. But it's, it's all about, and where the Supreme Court's not supposed to be political, they absolutely take into consideration who's going to be the one appointing their replacement when they retire. So you have to consider for Samuel Alito, if there is rumblings that he is going to retire, he's probably going to want to do it before Trump's out of office. And you can't wait too late into the term in the event that, Congress tries to block the appointment of a new Supreme Court justice, as that's part of the game these days. If it's close to elections, then one party is going to say, well, we can't put anybody in there. We need to wait until the American people decide on a new president before you appoint somebody. And it's all fair game. I mean, that's just the way it works. But I dare say, if Samuel Alito is going to do it, I really hate to see him go, but you might as well do it now, cuzzy, and let Donald Trump appoint somebody. Because I think Donald Trump can get it right this time. The problem with the previous appointments, Brett Kavanaugh's all right. Neil Gorsuch has been solid for the most part. But Amy Coney Barrett is an absolute loser with a capital L. I think that Donald Trump could get it right this time. I think he was relying on the Heritage Foundation to help him with his picks on his previous picks. Don't do that. Don't rely on outside organizations. Rely on your gut. Rely on the people that you trust the most. Don't rely on political groups, because they're going to let you down. Anyway, again, 205-545-9950. Mandu bringing you this part of the show. MANDUU.com. Mandu.com. And here's what I'm going to ask you to do. I'm going to ask you to go to the website of Mandu, sign up for a free session this week. You don't have to do it this week, but I want you to at least sign up this week and do it for America. Do it for America's 250th birthday. It's the least you could do, because America wants you healthy. It needs you. You're a patriot, and it needs you to be around as long as you can. And I'm serious. This kind of stuff can extend your lifespan. It really can, because it gets you healthy. It not just, we just kind of automatically think about, well, I'll build some muscle and I'll lose some weight. But there's all this other stuff on the inside of your body that's going to get recalibrated, like your levels, your blood pressure, your whatever ailments that you have. As a non-medical doctor, I can tell you my personal experience is I started doing Mandu. I'd always gone to the doctor. The doctor always had a laundry list of complaints when I would get blood work done. It's like, well, you got this, you need to work on that, you need to do this, and you need to take blood pressure medicine, and blah, 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 blah. And, of course, I would never take it, but the problem would never be solved. I would always go in there and always have high blood pressure. I'd always have this, that, and the other. And then once I started doing Mandu and I'd go get physicals, and they'd be like, yeah, everything's good. You don't really need anything. You can probably cut down on the bacon a little bit because your cholesterol is a little higher than average, but outside of that, you're good. And I'm like, really? I was actually shocked by that. They're like, yeah, but I don't know what you're doing, but keep it up. I said, well, I'm doing some Mandu. And it has made all the difference in the world. It's made a difference in the consistency of my back pain that I have. It has solved a lot of that. Helped me get some weight off, which helps a lot with that. People with issues like, knees and shoulders and whatever else, they don't have those issues far near as much as they used to, if at all. So you can seriously fix a lot of issues in your life by trying out Mandu. Try it out. I'm not asking you to spend any money. I'm just asking you to try it for free. Go to the website. I don't care if you're 18 or 80. I don't care if you're man or woman. Go to the website. Type in MANDUU.com, or you can Google it. Google Mandu. And there's a button there that says claim your free session. If you'd rather call them, if that's easy for you, go to the website. All the information, click find a location. All the information's right there. You got 3 places you can choose from, and you can go to any of them you want at any time. Huntsville, Tuscaloosa, and then right here in Birmingham in Homewood. Super easy to find. Mandu.com, MANDUU.com. I'm a believer. John Bird's a believer. Damian Mitchell's a believer. Everybody's a believer. Mandu.com. I forgot about Matt Murphy. I forgot to remind him to call us. I don't guess we're going to get him today, are we?
I guess not.
Today's Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, he's supposed to call today.
That would explain a lot.
Yeah, I talked to him last night, and he's like, yeah, I'm off Thursday, so I'll call you tomorrow. But it's fine. It's whatever. He was probably drunk when I texted him anyway.
Yeah, so it's his mistake. It's not yours.
No.
Not at all, my friend.
Not at all my fault.
No, it ain't.
And also, shout out to Work Trucks. I'm going to go see them this afternoon. John Bird actually wearing his Work Trucks T-shirt. Look at that. For those of you watching on YouTube.
My boys and girls in the office.
Yeah. Good guys over there, man.
And girls in the office.
I think there's just one girl in the office.
No, there's 2.
Oh, is there?
But there's mainly one, and then another one keeps going in there. So I don't know,
I got you.
what the deal is.
We'll
They're very busy. They need people. They need people to help them because they're so busy.
They are busy. It's because they're popular, is what it is. They're very, very popular over at Work Trucks.
Mm-hmm.
All right, 205-545-9950. Let's keep it rolling. With the birthright citizenship ruling, that also poses a problem, as we noted, with elections. We are still in the midst of having our elections stolen, and I don't want that to be lost on anybody. We talk a lot about the Save America Act, which, is getting closer and closer to, at least the way it feels like it's never going to happen. But while we're having those arguments, duplicate ballots are being sent out in Wisconsin for their primary elections. By the way, that's the second time. This is in Green Bay. It's the second time this year that Green Bay, Wisconsin has sent out duplicate ballots to people.
That ain't no accident.
It's such a farce because everyone knows that mail-in ballots result in, at the very least, increased risk of fraud. And of course, the geniuses at the U.S. Supreme Court don't seem a bit concerned about that. But here's the report from Fox 11. For the second time in 2026, the city of Green Bay has accidentally sent duplicate ballots to some voters across the city. City of Green Bay announced early Sunday evening that residents across the city have started to receive their mail-in ballots for the August primary election. However, some of the residents who received one of the 5,084 total ballots also received an additional ballot. The city says its staff became aware of the issue Saturday that some voters in wards 11A, 12A, 37A, 44A, 47A, and part of Ward 43 received a duplicate ballot. It was not disclosed how many residents were sent duplicate ballots because wouldn't want you to know that. Shady elections have been taking place in Green Bay since 2020. It was reported earlier that the mayor, Eric Genrich, gave the keys to the arena where ballots were stored before the 2020 election to far-left radical and former Facebook employee Michael Spitzer Rubenstein. Now, why would he do that? When it was reported about that emails revealed that Michael Spitzer Rubenstein, Wisconsin state lead for the National Vote and Home Institute, was given secret internet access to the Hotel Convention Center where ballots were counted in Green Bay. Then in October, a group of local Wisconsin patriots who call themselves Wisconsin Hot uncovered another major election scandal in Wisconsin. A Racine clerk worked with a former Facebook employee to create an app to track votes in real time before the 2020 election. The former Facebook employee was, you guessed it, Michael Spitzer Rubenstein. Rubenstein asked to get into WisVote per an email obtained by Wisconsin Hot. That would be the Wisconsin voting data. And that's all right there for public consumption. Information in the email was received from the city of Racine, Wisconsin, in a records request made on March 20th, 2021 by Wisconsin Hot. That information was then posted at hotgovernment.com. And so that's just one city. That's just Green Bay, Wisconsin. But that kind of stuff is going on all over the place. And yet, there seems to be no concern about our elections or, in the Supreme Court's case, the future of our elections. Are we just going to allow, with the birthing tourism, 20 years from now, for people to be shipped into the U.S. in and around Election Day so they can vote? Or do we save them the trouble, and with all the mail-in ballots, do we send the mail-in ballots overseas to their home country? Saying, hey, I know you lived in China your whole life, but you were here those 3 days when you were born, so we're going to send you a ballot to Shanghai. We're gonna send you your ballot to Beijing. Is that where we're headed? I got a feeling it is. It's just the same as sending ballots to the military overseas. These are American citizens. They got to have a ballot. They got to do a mail-in ballot, absentee. It's disgusting. It's disgusting what these people are doing to our country. Quick break, 205-545-9950 if you want to get in. Back after this. And to see where the Republicans are on what is the most important legislation out there, the Save America Act, as you well know, look no further than Tom Tillis, who is such a conservative and a believer in the conservative America First movement, that he went on CNN and talked with Jake Tapper. And when he was asked about the Save America Act and why Donald Trump seems so concerned with it, he said this.
Telling me I need to implement the SAVE Act immediately in North Carolina, in a state that has voter ID. It was passed when I was Speaker. We've enhanced it even since then, and the president's won 3 times. Why do I, over the next 4 months, have to try to pursue the impossible task of implementing a bill that simply can't be implemented in that time frame? Why are we doing more things to undermine our confidence in elections rather than getting the strong message out that will win for Republicans this year? Talk about the emergence and the rise of the Democrat Socialist of America. Accept that the voting laws are going to be fundamentally what they are today. Win by them. Win by the good results that Republicans have produced, and stop undermining the confidence in the elections. This is a bedrock of our 250-year history of success as the democracy that changed the world. Let's not mess with that between now and November.
Okay. So, according to Tom Tillis, the push for the Save America Act is actually undermining confidence in elections. Wanting the Save America Act is detrimental. Yes, you heard that right. It's detrimental to our elections. That's Republican Tom Tillis. And that's the reason we can't get it passed. He says, even if we pass it, we don't have enough time to implement it before the midterms. So you just don't do it all together? Is that the plan? You can't get it done in time for November, so you just don't do it at all? That's a pretty stupid argument. It's even, dare I say, traitor talk. Traitor to America. But let's say he's right. Let's say, and he could possibly be right in the sense of, if you did pass it, you couldn't get it implemented in time for the midterm elections. Well, between that and the Supreme Court legalizing stolen elections with mail-in ballots, which is such a terrible, terrible decision, such a disaster, such a scam, that maybe Donald Trump will be outraged enough to do what he really should do and declare a presidential national security emergency for elections. And listen, maybe there's not a choice, because if you do pass the Save America Act, people like Norm Eisen, who's good buddies with John Roberts, will immediately challenge it. It'll have to go through the courts and then make its way to the Supreme Court. Never get ruled on in time. John Roberts will either rule against it or he'll delay it to where it's irrelevant. So maybe there is no longer any choice. So Donald Trump needs to just act fast in order to prevent the midterms from being stolen. Maybe it's time to stop worrying about and freaking out and screaming about the SAVE Act. Maybe it is too late. Maybe we don't have the votes to pass it, and we don't have the votes to suspend the filibuster. Maybe the SAVE Act is dead. Maybe it's as dead as Joe Biden's, brain. I don't know. Maybe it is. And even if by hook or crook or sudden miracle the GOP has a change of heart and pass the SAVE Act, again, it's going to be tied up in the courts by Democrat lawyers, tied up for a year or longer, so it couldn't be effective for said midterms. A presidential national security emergency for elections, Donald Trump has the power to do that. And you can even make that better than the SAVE Act. It can be the SAVE Act on steroids, the SAVE Act Trump style. It can be everything the SAVE Act has with a lot more, like voter ID, proof of citizenship, and severe limits to mail-in ballots, and an end to machine voting. Mandates on mandating paper ballots. And Trump can add no counting of ballots past election night. The concept that the Supreme Court's either too corrupt or too stupid to understand what they're doing. Forget about the rigging and cheating and enabling by counting for days past election night. Set that aside for a moment. It's even simpler than that. If anyone in America can't get their vote or ballot in by election night, in my opinion, and my opinion is correct here, they're too stupid to be allowed to vote. It's time for Trump to enact a national emergency on our elections.